Hi everyone, my next guest on Chat with Anju episode 6 is one of UAE's leading stylists and fashion icons. Poised, polished, elegant, beautiful, and a humble woman. Rosemin, a Canada-born entrepreneur and founder of RR&Co, leading bespoke luxury management company. Roseman is a popular presenter and host for fashion and lifestyle events. She's a brand ambassador for many leading luxury brands, one of the 50 most influential women in the Arab world. Roseman is also an influencer in her own right. She even has Christian Louboutin named one of his red sole shoe after her, the Roseman shoe. So let me welcome Rosemin Madhavji. Hi, Rosemin.
Thank you for having me. I'm so excited. Well, I always think that one, we can learn from each other. So, doesn't matter how long the conversation is, but if someone watches this and even get 1% of advice or inspiration, I'm so happy to share my story.
Let me ask you first, tell me a little bit about your childhood.
My childhood, well, my parents are from East Africa. We're Indian descent, and they immigrated from East Africa to the UK and then to Canada. So Canada was where I was born. And, as immigrants, you see your parents work very hard, both your mom and your dad. I'm 40 now. I just turned 40 this year. And when I really look back on my childhood, my explanation is a lot different than if you asked me 20 years ago, because I really, at 40, value the hard work that my parents did, and to start all over again their careers and set up a life and give my 3 siblings the best life they could is pretty extraordinary. And so I'm grateful every day that the life we have. I finished high school. I did a year and a half or 2 years of high school in Toronto. And then I went to fashion school in the UK. So I studied at the London College of Fashion, which was a big leap.
Even your first internship was with Tom Ford.
Well, Tom Ford is actually my first job, to be honest. That was my first employment. My first internship was, where did I intern? I mean, I had incredible internships, actually. I interned at the press office because I wasn't allowed to work for him fully. The story with Tom Ford is great because he headhunted me out of university in my second year, and I couldn't work for him full time because I was still in school. So I started in the press office. I learned everything about the company and on the PR side. And the minute I handed in my dissertation, Monday morning, I was working for him, and I started as his second assistant. You mentioned the word internships, and I've had incredible internships and work experiences. The minute I got to the UK, because I didn't know how long I was going to be in England for, and I always pictured myself actually going to or living in New York. So I worked at Burberry head office. I worked at Sotheby's because I loved art. My Saturday job was, one of my Saturday jobs one year was working at Blaine's Fine Art, where I really learned about incredible artists. Because I had a passion for art and fashion. I couldn't decide which one I wanted to go into. I got this really cool offer to set up Juicy Couture in Europe with 2 other women. And it was at a point where Juicy Couture was valued at $1 billion on the New York Stock Exchange. It was the height of the brand. And, to be honest, it was 2 other partners of mine, and we had a blank checkbook to have the best showroom, the best office. We launched menswear, kidswear, the high ready-to-wear line, the perfume. We did so much in that kind of 2-year span, and had a beautiful office in Mayfair. And my job as PR marketing director for Europe and Middle East was really to transform the brand away from tracksuits. So I had an incredible celebrity database, everyone from Queen Rania to Gwyneth Paltrow, Kate Moss. And so I started, and I think that's when I realized I had an eye for styling, and I could look at someone and say, okay, this is what's going to work, or this is what's going to be best on them. So Anya's children's birthday photos, all of them were wearing Juicy Couture polo shirts. And in Vanity Fair, she was in the Hall of Fame one year, and the picture of the Hall of Fame was her in an outfit from Gucci and Saint Laurent, which I kind of worked on with, dressing her with. And then it said, what's your favorite piece of clothing? And she said, the long sleeve Juicy Couture shirt, because it covers my hips and it's modest. And I was like, wow, that's me. Like, that picture is me.
I read that you also designed, at 16, you designed your first collection as
Yeah.
a fashion designer.
Yeah.
And how come you got into the fashion business and not become a fashion designer?
So in my high school, we had an annual fashion show, and the idea was to support local retailers in the city. And I love design. I mean, the minute I was young, like, I don't know how old I was when my mom gave me my first sewing machine, and I just wanted to get my hands on it. And I would, if she gave me a skirt, I would cut it and, change the shape of dresses. And then I started learning how to do pattern cutting, and I took all these classes. My mom would put me in these classes, and I really loved it. And it was actually a really good example or an experience to do that collection, because I think I did about 10 looks. And, I picked all the kind of beautiful girls in my high school to walk the runway for me. And what I did enjoy was I enjoyed putting the looks together. I enjoyed the process of, speaking with, finding a shoe designer to put the shoes with and putting the looks together. The collection was amazing, but I realized I wasn't good at pattern cutting. I wasn't good at, I loved the design. I loved what was in my head, but I wasn't an amazing sketcher and, illustrator. So I just found something that was taking a lot of probably other people like a week to do was taking me like a few weeks to do. I love the finished product. Should I go into design or should I go into business? I have a marketing and business brain. Like the way I think, I know that part of myself. And I think a lot of that has to do because my parents and my whole majority of my family are entrepreneurs. So I felt like I had that business sense in me. And then I also feel as a designer, you have to be able to walk into a store or a website or whatever it is. The modern version is a website, but I would always say you walk into a department store like a Harvey Nichols or Selfridges, and if you can see your collection there, like your point of view, your vision, because something is really missing. The only times I really find a challenge is, I don't wear low cleavage, I don't wear backless. So those are the only tricky times that I kind of struggle with finding things that I really, so I decided to go on the business side, and I do love it because I feel like I have this, maybe because I'm a Pisces, so half is business and half is creative, but I think it's the right mix.
Behind the scenes for Rosemin, everything is beautiful, branded, and I mean, as a host and presenter at many events, beautiful makeup, beautiful hair, beautiful clothes, all the, great parties, nice people you meet. How much preparation goes into this perfection?
Oh, I don't know. Perfection? Well, I think if it's a big event, like a red carpet or something, that a little bit more time goes in. That's a really important point as well, because when you're dressing, it's really important to really be relevant to what that occasion is. I think on an everyday basis, I love doing makeup, but I feel like I do the same thing all the time.
Watching your episodes, your conversations with leading women, and I really feel up with it because they really come out and share their stories and what's going on with them. I mean, everything looks rosy outside, but behind the scenes, there's a lot of work.
Yeah.
Do, all of them.
Yeah, of course.
So it's very interesting to see how you sharing this with all of us every week.
Well, no, I love sharing it because, during quarantine, I have a show with Indigo Living, which is a company out of Hong Kong. And it's, when quarantine happened, I was talking to all my friends who were industry leaders, whether they were in skincare or nutrition or, designers. And everyone had the same, different struggles, what they were going through. Like all of their businesses were halted. And then you kind of take it for granted, like who your friends are or who your network is. And I'm like, oh my God, Dr. Nigma, like share their stories. And, they're all incredible industry leaders. And I think it was just really important for people to just engage and connect and share advice. And they all come from different backgrounds, which I thought was great, in different parts of the world. And I think that was been the best part about technology is halted. And you you need to actually bounce ideas from everyone and see how to get back on, or how to, advice on running the office or employees or whatever it is. I think sometimes when you hear from different women from around the globe of how they're juggling, whether it's family, kids, homeschooling, their business, I think the more that people can engage honestly, people will learn from.
Yeah, and and it's a great platform because usually you don't get to see these people unless it's like at an interview. But this, when it's live, they're so in their own zone and, chatting very authentically. 5 years from now, what do you want to have accomplished personally and professionally?
You know, I would love to answer that, but everything I say, I can't plan. And this has been a perfect example. 2020, I was planning the biggest 40th birthday bash. Had all these travel plans. Everything just halted. So I feel like now 5 years feels like such a long time. I do want to plan. I want to plan for whether it's a family or, kind of that home part of my personal life to kind of be more grounded. Like I seem to not be able to juggle work and personal life, so I'm still figuring that out. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I feel like if you asked me that in January, I would give you this incredible answer. But honestly, this year has been a complete shock to the system.
Oh, absolutely. And I feel it's a journey, and you really have to just enjoy your journey and go with the flow, and given your 100% and something comes out.
Yeah, and honestly, like, I think the past few months has really been a good time for reflection. Like, I genuinely want to be with the friends I want to be with. I want to be surrounded by friends that I learn from, that I care about, that have this mutual just value system,
Rapid fire round.
Okay.
And if you could, it's going to be just like, if you could share one or two words.
Yeah.
So the first one is, define your style in one word.
So I don't think I can do it in one word, but I will say it is feminine, classic, with like a twist of trend. That's how I describe my style. Yeah.
Your idea of beauty.
Beauty is just, it's true. I know people say it's a cliche, but it really is in the eye of the beholder.
Coco Chanel says, right? Beauty begins when you decide to be yourself.
Of course. Yeah. It's the perfect quote. Yeah.
Yeah. So your favorite style icon?
My all-time favorite style icon to this day is Jackie Kennedy.
Okay.
I find her just so timeless. And
your current favorite skin product?
I have a lot of good skin products that I love.
You have your hands on something, right? Currently.
I love 111 Skin. It's one of my favorite brands. I don't travel without any of the masks. I always keep them handy. Before I'm filming or when I'm traveling, I put them on. So
one important beauty tip for my audience.
What can I say? That's a good one. I don't know. There's a lot. I will say, invest in getting your skin routine done, because makeup is great, but if your canvas is not good, your makeup will just be bumpy and not look kind of flawless. And invest in your skincare and take the time to really cleanse your skin and make sure all that makeup is gone. Don't sleep with your makeup. It really makes a difference.
Yeah, I would add lots of water.
Lots of water too. Yeah, exactly.
Great. Thank you, Rosemin, for joining me today. And if you have anything you want to say to my audience.
No, I'm so glad that you are sharing your network with your audience, and I can't wait to see the video, and I'm going to keep following you as well. That's great. It's great you started this, because I think it's good to share everyone's kind of life skills and life lessons.
Yeah. So thanks everyone for watching, and I look forward to sharing more episodes. Until then, be happy, be healthy, and keep smiling.